All right, more documents. Just where did they come from and what are they all about? Peter Doocy at the White House. What's going on, my friend?
Well, Neil, the way that this small scandal becomes a potentially very big scandal is if these new documents in the second batch were found prior to today, because when White House special counsel officials put out their statement, they made very clear they only knew about documents at 101 Constitution, at the think tank office in some sort of a locked cabinet or a closet. If they knew about this second batch of documents before they put that statement out, that would be a clear misleading of the American public. We just don't know that yet. All that we know is that a second batch was found. We don't know when, we don't know where, we don't know by who yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, massive breaking news. Thank you for joining us on our special alert here. Joe Biden, more documents have been found in Joe Biden's private office, inside of a private facility used by Joe Biden, not secured by the federal government, not allowed to have classified documents inside of it. This is now the second tranche of documents that were classified, marked classified, and top secret that have been found by Joe Biden's aides and lawyers. This is breaking news right now. Let's jump into the news so that we don't miss anything. Ladies and gentlemen, who broke it? NBC News. Boy, oh boy, you want to watch MSNBC reporters cringe on camera and bite their tongues? Check it out. Biden aides found second batch of classified documents at new location. On Monday, the White House acknowledged that a small number of classified documents had been found in the office used by Joe Biden. Aides to President Joe Biden have discovered at least one additional batch of classified documents in a location separate from the Washington office he used after leaving the Obama administration. According to a person familiar with the matter, since November, after the discovery of documents, the classified marking with the former office, Biden aides have been searching for any additional classified materials that may be in locations he used, said a source who spoke on the condition of anonymity about the ongoing inquiry. The Biden White House did not return requests for comments. The Justice Department had no further comment. Joe Biden is in deep, hot water here. Joe Biden is not going to have a real one, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason why is because what Joe Biden is doing here is illegal. One case is an accident. One case, of course, should put you in jail for a very long time. There are plenty of news articles about various members of our military or our federal government, people walking away with classified documents and spending the next 10 years in jail. Now, we've showed you this before, and we'll show you this again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mark Elias, Democrat super lawyer, pointing to U.S. Code 2071, concealment, removal, or mutilation of classified materials from the federal government. Let's jump down here to Section B. Whoever having the custody of such records, proceedings, maps, books, documents, paper, or other thing willfully or unlawfully conceals, removes, mutilates, or obliterates or falsifies documents shall be fined, shall be imprisoned, and shall forfeit their office and be disqualified from holding any other office under the United States. Does that mean Joe Biden is no longer president? We are asking questions. We are asking questions, ladies and gentlemen, because now two batches of documents have been found, top secret documents that were squirreled away by Joe Biden, stolen from Donald Trump's administration and his ability to administer justice. What was Joe Biden hiding? This could be the political bombshell of our era, and we have so much to unpack here. First off, let's jump to the breaking news, not from NBC News, but from people that we trust.
All right, we have some breaking news. President Biden's aides have reportedly found now a second batch of classified documents at a new location. That is being reported this hour by NBC News. Fox News is working to confirm that. But again, this is reportedly a second batch of classified documents at a different location from the Biden Penn Center, the think tank that he formed after he was vice president. So we're going to keep you updated. We're going to get some new information on that, and we will bring it to you.
Man, ladies and gentlemen, the Daily Mail here. Second batch of Biden classified documents found in another location. White House faces even more questions after Karine Jean-Pierre refused to say if there was any investigations into the stashes of sensitive files. Key investigations remain. What was the content and the number of the Biden records? How did the records arrive at the Washington, D.C. think tank that Joe Biden allegedly ran? Haha, LOL. Joe Biden being a professor at a think tank. The guy who can't ride a bicycle. The guy who can't speak an English language or walk up a flight of stairs. Why did the administration wait to announce their discovery? Still, no words on the second location of the document. We do not know where these files were found. We know it was a private location where Joe Biden worked, according to the original breaking news story here from NBC News. Again, Joe Biden is in deep trouble on this one. Here's how NBC News spun it. This breaking report from them. We thought it was worth playing their original reporting watched from seconds ago.
Biden have apparently discovered another set of classified documents, this time in a different location than the office where the first batch was discovered, according to a person familiar with the matter. I want to bring in now the team breaking this story. NBC News White House correspondent Carol Lee, our Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delaney. And Ken, let me start with you with what we know.
Hallie, aides to President Biden have been conducting an exhaustive search, we are told, of other locations to make sure they've gathered up all the classified documents that went to the wrong place, because if it happened once, it could happen again. And what we're told is that they have found at least one additional batch of classified documents. Now, that's basically all we know. We don't know the extent, the nature of the classification on these documents. We don't know exactly when they were found. And again, we don't know whether this was anything more than inadvertent error by whoever was packing the documents as they left the Biden White House. But it's significant because it shows that the scope of this may be more broad than we first realized. We were initially talking about a set of less than a dozen documents in one location at the Penn Biden Center. Now it appears there are more classified documents that went astray after Joe Biden left the Obama administration.
There is no such thing as coincidences in this world. There is no such thing as accidents in politics. These people may be stupid, but they absolutely understand the malevolence of these actions. Joe Biden is squirreling away classified documents as it pertains to Ukraine, as it pertains to China, as it pertains to Iran and the United Kingdom. There is a reason. Thank God that there is a Trump attorney that is actually looking into this, a Trump-appointed U.S. district attorney from Illinois that is looking into this case, and we will see what happens with the first tranche of documents. But a second tranche of documents proves that Joe Biden is a criminal, that Joe Biden is working on behalf of the Ukrainians, and that Joe Biden himself was trying to hide, keep, obscure, and steal information from the Trump White House. The Trump White House was going to get access to these documents, and therefore what Joe Biden was doing here was trying to obfuscate at best, and was trying to impede justice or impede the ability of an administration to deliver justice based on his dirty dealings inside of Ukraine. Now, as we displayed and detailed this morning, why did Joe Biden spend so much time in Ukraine? Why was Joe Biden flying in his last flights paid for by you, the American taxpayers, to Ukraine, to China? Well, of course, because he didn't think he was going to run for office again, and so Joe Biden was trying to use the weight of his office in order to usher in and secure deals for his degenerate family, his no-show son, who's a drug addict, who was going to be used as the money funnel, the sex trafficking money funnel, cokehead kid for the family. Joe Biden was going to then run a Clinton Foundation-like operation out of the University of Pennsylvania with the help of Chinese communist dollars. All of that went awry when, of course, the Democratic Party couldn't find anyone to beat Donald Trump. And so the super state coalesced around Joe Biden and propped him up like a brain-dead mannequin and ran him from the basement. And ladies and gentlemen, the rest, as they say, is history. Karine Jean-Pierre might be history. After being unable to answer questions about this at the White House, Karine Jean-Pierre was asked directly, have you spoken to Joe Biden about this massive scandal?
Have you spoken to the president about these documents and their discovery?
I have not spoken. Well, first of all, I have not spoken to the president about any of this specifically because he's laid out what he knows. He has said he doesn't know what is in them, so there's no way for me to talk about the documents if he has said he doesn't know what's in them. And we're just going to allow the process to continue.
We're just going to allow the process to continue. So what is the process exactly? Well, Joe Biden and the entire left was saying that this disqualifies Donald Trump from running for office again. You may recall that Donald Trump had a love letter delivered to him by Kim Jong-un, and Donald Trump sat with his toes in the water at the pool in Mar-a-Lago in the moonlight, staring at the poetry that was written for him by Kim Jong-un, because Donald Trump is a deeply nostalgic person, and Donald Trump has little mementos and knickknacks from his entire career all over his office. Have you ever been to one of Donald Trump's office? I've been to like a couple of them. The offices are packed with these little knickknacks and these little things. They wanted you to believe that it was the nuclear codes. They weren't. It was just like little knickknacks from his presidency. And they raided his house for that. Joe Biden, during that raid, Joe Biden, the man who ordered that raid, had this to say about Donald Trump's handling of classified information.
And you saw the photograph of the top secret documents laid out on the floor at Mar-a-Lago. What did you think to yourself, looking at that image?
How that could possibly happen, how anyone could be that irresponsible. And I thought, what data was in there that may compromise sources and methods? By that I mean names of people who helped, or et cetera. And it's just totally irresponsible.
And you don't know.
So totally irresponsible is what Joe Biden said about Donald Trump's handling of documents. We thought that was particularly interesting because Peter Doocy used exactly those words today when he asked Karine Jean-Pierre about Joe Biden handling multiple tranches of stolen top secret documents in his personal private possession.
On these documents, how could anyone be that irresponsible? Isn't that what this president says about mishandling classified documents?
The president spoke to this personally. He spoke to this personally, and he believes that classified documents and information should be taken seriously. He takes them seriously, and he was surprised to learn by any records had been. I disagree.
Oh, okay. Karine Jean-Pierre disagrees. Well, does Karine Jean-Pierre have any answer as to why it took 2 months for the American people to learn about the fact that Joe Biden was illegally stealing documents from our federal government with top secret security stamps on them and then squirreling them away inside of his private office illegally? By the way, Joe Biden was vice president. He has absolutely no plenary power to classify or declassify. What Joe Biden did was illegal, same as Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton had no power to have classified documents. It is purely and merely the president of the United States who has the power to do that. So does Karine Jean-Pierre have a good answer for exactly why we're finding out about it right now? I have a good answer for it. In fact, I've been doing some phone calls. I think I know exactly why. Let's listen to Karine Jean-Pierre, Twist in the Wind.
These documents were discovered on November 2nd. This didn't become public until my colleagues at CBS News reported this on Monday. That's more than 2 months later. Why was the public not informed while the White House prepared its PR response for 2 months?
Again, this was under review. This is under review by the Department of Justice. I'm not going to go beyond what the president shared yesterday. I'm not going to go beyond what my colleagues at the White House Counsel shared with all of you as well.
Well, let me tell you what's been shared with me as it pertains to this story. What's been shared with me, according to someone who may or may not be in this photo, a member of Congress that I have been speaking with on the phone, is telling me that, one, the Oversight Committee is going to demand Joe Biden's all of the top secret documents. Oversight Committee demands Joe Biden disclose all retrieved documents from Penn Biden Center. So Republicans are going to come after these documents and see exactly what's inside of them. This is a huge scandal. But more importantly, a member of Congress called me just on my way over to the studio here to do this broadcast and said, you know what's going on here, Benny? They are releasing these documents and they are releasing these stories to inflict maximum damage on Joe Biden specifically. And they're doing it because Joe Biden is deciding whether he's going to run in 2024 right now. There are many people inside the Democratic Party who don't want Joe Biden to run. They didn't want this to leak. They knew this was a problem. They didn't want it to leak before the election because they wanted Democrats to win, but they don't want Joe Biden to run again. There are powerful forces inside the Democrat Party that do not want Joe Biden to run again. They believe that he is weak, ineffective, and he will lose. To Trump, DeSantis, anyone else, he will lose. They believe that Joe Biden is, of course, a broken vessel. And so they are actively leaking to hurt and harm Joe Biden, and that it's going to get worse. May or may not be a member of Congress in this photograph right here. Let's read. House Oversight Committee James Comer wrote a letter to the White House counsel demanding the disclosure of all documents retrieved from the Penn Biden Center. University of Joe Biden was stashing there, including classified briefings, documents pertaining to Iran, Ukraine, dated between 2013 and 2016. To assist the committee Republicans on investigating President Joe Biden's recent mishandling of classified documents, please provide all the following documents no later than January 24th, 2023. What is that, next week? The demand did not include a subpoena, but it will. It will. Very interesting here. Merrick Garland named special counsel to investigate Trump, not Biden, 2 weeks after Biden's classified docs were discovered. Oh, that's curious. Attorney General Merrick Garland named special counsel to investigate former President Donald Trump, not President Joe Biden, 2 weeks after Biden's classified briefings and documents were discovered at the Penn Biden Center. On November 18th, Garland named former federal prosecutor Jack Smith as special counsel, two probes by the Department of Justice. About 2 weeks prior, on November 2nd, Biden's classified documents were reportedly unearthed by Biden's so-called fake think tank at the Penn Biden Center. We have more on that in just a second. By the president's attorney. The timeline suggests Garland appointed a special counsel to investigate Biden's 2024 political opponent for allegedly mishandling classified documents while potentially knowing that Biden had done the exact same thing. But there's one key difference, and Kash Patel tells us exactly what that key difference is. Kash Patel, of course, worked very closely with Donald Trump, is working with Donald Trump right now, handled a lot of classified information, and was overseeing the Pentagon, Justice Department while Donald Trump was president. Kash Patel knows so very much about the classification and declassification of documents and made this extremely sentient point on Steve Bannon's show just moments ago about the difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump and classification.
You're a former prosecutor. You were the chief counsel, senior counsel to the Intelligence Committee. Is Mike Davis right? Is Joe Biden, is he really, is it stealing these documents, these highly classified documents? He has no prerogatives like a former president does?
He's absolutely right. I've said this for years now, and this case proves it. A sitting president is the only sole arbiter of the classification authority system in the United States government. You know who is not? A sitting vice president. And that's directed by the Office of Director of National Intelligence and federal statute. So it could not be more clear. So we have just exonerated President Trump from half the farcical crimes that they've come up with, and at the same time convicted Joe Biden.
Okay, Kash, hang on for 1 second. Kash may have the best timed book in the history of the earth. Government Gangsters is now on pre-sale.
Yeah, okay, ladies and gentlemen. So Kash Patel, of course, making the delineation there that Joe Biden was heretofore only a vice president and had absolutely no right to have these classified documents, as Joe Biden said in what will now become a famous clip in 2018. Inside of the fake think tank that Joe Biden ran, Joe Biden was interviewed, presumably sitting on a stack of stolen classified documents, saying, I have no classified documents. This will be played during his impeachment inquiry. Watch.
In 2018, Joe Biden addressed his access to classified information in an interview with me. This was in the context of Russia's interference in U.S. elections, and it was in that office, the Penn Biden Center.
I don't have access to classified information anymore. I don't get briefed every morning by the agency, as I did for 8 years.
I don't have access to classified information, Joe Biden says, while he sits behind a closet of stolen classified information. Quite a tone change from Joe Biden just yesterday when he was asked about this issue. This is turning into a massive scandal. Listen to the inflection in Biden's voice here. You know he's guilty when he sounds like this.
When my lawyers were clearing out my office at the University of Pennsylvania, they set up an office for me, secure office in the Capitol. The 4 years after being vice president, I was a professor at Penn. They found some documents in a box in a locked cabinet, or at least a closet. And as soon as they did, they realized there were several classified documents in that box. And they did what they should have done. They immediately called the archives, turned them over to the archives, and I was briefed about this discovery and surprised to learn that there were any government records that were taken there to that office. But I don't know what's in the documents. My lawyers have not suggested I ask what documents they were. I've turned over the boxes. They've turned over the boxes to the archives, and we're cooperating fully with the review, and which I hope will be finished soon, and there'll be more detail at that time. The first question now I forgot. Your first question related to.
Okay, so yeah, haha, LOL, old man has dementia. Yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Republicans now have massive investigatory power They have the subpoena power. It's not going to work. The chuckling old man, dementia, dandruff routine. You have pissed off too many people, Joe Biden, and you have really awakened the giant. People are going to ask questions. We'll ask some questions. We'll start with this. What are your lawyers doing rooting around in old locked closets? That's an important question. Lawyers don't do that. Lawyers are even if you're the president of the United States, lawyers don't just randomly rummage through old, dusty, abandoned offices. What are they looking for? Lawyers only do that in the pretense of trying to hide something because they know that there is a storm on the horizon. Lawyers do that in order to protect their clients retroactively, proactively. Ladies and gentlemen, something's amiss. The Biden regime knows something is about to hit. There's something big on the horizon. Mark my words. What are lawyers doing rooting around in Joe Biden's private office? That's a great question. Secondly, why did the Chinese government increase its funding of Penn University, an obscure, deeply dangerous, totally crummy school inside of Philadelphia? Why did they increase their funding of that university by 1,000% as soon as that university started the Penn Biden Center? We'll ask the question, was it so that Chinese agents could go and oogle and steal and make photocopies of top secret documents inside of the Penn Biden Center? That Joe Biden, was this a stash house for the Chinese government? And a secondary question to that, where is the chain of custody for these documents? The chain of custody for Donald Trump's top secret documents are White House to Donald Trump's secure facility at Mar-a-Lago. That's it. That's how it worked. And then that facility, which I've been to Mar-a-Lago 2, 3, 4 dozen times, that is the most secure place on the planet, yo. You are not getting in there without someone pointing a gun in your face asking, what the hell are you doing? Last time I went to Mar-a-Lago, which was a month ago, there were 5 layers of security. Joe Biden's old dusty office, there are 0 layers of security. So how many janitors inside of that office happen to be Chinese nationals working for the Communist Party of China, rummaging through Joe Biden's stuff? Second drawer on the left, wink, wink. That's a good question. Tucker Carlson asked that question with a huge bombshell, actually. Watch this clip and be infuriated. Your skin will crawl. Watch what Tucker Carlson broke in this enormous revelation that the University of Pennsylvania was utilizing the Penn Biden Center as a recruitment camp for communist China. In case you're wondering if the Biden Center was essentially just an embassy for the Communist Chinese Party, look no more. Check it out.
So they seem like hypocrites. We could play an endless loop of clips like that for the rest of the hour. You get the point. But they're not actually hypocrites. What they're describing is a caste system where they can do what they want and you are subject to the minutia of their legal code. It's called anarcho-tyranny. But on to more enduring questions, because we know that already. What is this Penn Biden Center? The Penn Biden Center. What's the purpose of the Penn Biden Center? Well, in April of 2016, one of Hunter Biden's business associates explained the purpose in an email to Hunter. He said that the Penn Biden Center, quote, operates like the Clinton Global Initiative without the money raise. Oh, so all the upside, none of the downside. Without the money raise, really. So you don't have to fly around the world raising money. But as the Washington Free Beacon has reported, actually there was a lot of money being raised, and it was being raised by the University of Pennsylvania, and it was being raised from foreign governments after the Biden Center opened. See the connection here? And we're quoting from the piece. Foreign contributions to the University of Pennsylvania tripled since the Penn Biden Center's soft opening in March of 2017, rising from $31 million in 2016 to over $100 million in 2019. Now, where'd all that money come from? Where do you think? The largest foreign contributor was China. And if you go to the webpage for the Penn Biden Center, you get some idea of what that money bought. So on the site, there's a section called, quote, addressing threats to the liberal international order. Russia and Vladimir Putin are mentioned as threats to the liberal international order, but China, which is currently committing genocide, is conspicuously not mentioned as a threat to the liberal international order. So all of this aroused our suspicions, naturally, so we decided to take a closer look at the University of Pennsylvania and its ties to China. We took a look at text messages from Hunter Biden's laptop to see if we could find an answer. And we found messages between a senior professor at Penn's International Relations Department to Naomi Biden. That would be Hunter Biden's very young daughter. The message from the professor begins this way, quote, "Dear Naomi, I'm writing you tonight to invite you to take part in a major conference in China at the end of March. I've been asked to help recruit a prominent young leader. They, the Chinese government, will fly you business class and, of course, provide all of your accommodations. I don't think it would surprise you that they are interested in you thanks to your family name. I would not take offense at that. It is truly the Chinese way. And frankly, better you than that dolt, Tiffany Trump. If you are interested, can you send me your CV and or a bio? I would forward that, and you could expect an official invitation from Li Baodong, the Secretary General of the Forum." End quote. Pretty remarkable. As far as we know, that has not been previously reported. So here you have an employee of the University of Pennsylvania, an Ivy League school, sending an invitation apparently on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party to recruit Joe Biden's granddaughter for an influence operation, saying that she'd be flown to Beijing and stay in Chinese government-controlled accommodations. So a lot of people on television seem very concerned about national security at the moment. All these former CIA and NSA and FBI employees are going on CNN and MSNBC to tell you national security implications are first in mind. Are they concerned about this? Will they ask a single question about it?
Well, there are people asking major questions about this. The chorus of Republicans who are demanding these documents, demanding these investigations, is ever rising. It is becoming actually quite deafening. House Judiciary Committee, which is the most powerful committee inside of the House, run by Jim Jordan, saying, has the FBI raided the Biden Center yet? Josh Hawley is saying special counsel. Talking about this news. Special counsel. Marjorie Taylor Greene is straight up saying, it is time. I have been saying it. Impeach Joe Biden.
Congresswoman, do you have a message about the documents found at the Penn Biden Center?
Yeah, this is a very serious situation. Vice presidents cannot declassify documents, and the fact that Joe Biden is in possession of classified documents when he was vice president signals that we need to have a serious investigation into this. And there's a true two-tiered justice system stemming from Merrick Garland's Department of Justice and the way that President Trump has been treated, who is allowed to classify and declassify documents. Presidents can do that, versus the Democrats and Joe Biden and how he's being treated. I'll echo again, impeach Biden, and that's what we need.
Impeach Biden. Special counsel. What are we going to get, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I mean, what you're seeing now is even the, what would be the right way to say this? Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, bomb thrower, okay? But even like the more middle of the road members of Congress are saying, we're going to impeach Joe Biden. Check out Byron Donalds from 2 days ago saying, hey, just got to let you know, you got to be prepared for the impeachment of Joe Biden.
Talking about a task force of 80 FBI agents just solely focused on amplifying lies and suppressing truth. And we all would like to see some accountability there. If you find that there was actual evidence of wrongdoing, will you support impeaching Joe Biden?
Oh, that's something that will happen. But right now, what we want to do is get to the process of going through the investigations. Let me be very clear. What we witnessed when the Democrats were in control was that they picked a target, which was President Trump, and they did everything they could to try to damage him in any possible way. What Republicans are committing to do is going through the investigation process. We want the evidence to speak for itself. We want the American people to see that. And if the conclusions become clear that there are high crimes and misdemeanors that have been committed, then we'll be pushing forward with the next necessary course of action. But
what does that mean, the next necessary course of action? Well, of course, what that means is impeachment. What that means for high crimes and misdemeanors is impeachment. The House Oversight Committee is demanding these documents. Again, if you are joining us a little late, this is the breaking news here from MSNBC, LOL. Cope, seethe, salty tears. I drink them. They taste like ice cream. Ladies and gentlemen, MSNBC, the Daily Mail, everyone is saying, second batch of documents, classified documents found. So now you have a crime scene, right? Initially, you could have had like a massive blunder. Of course, we know that that's not true, but nonetheless, they could have spun it like that. Now you have a crime scene. Now you have a serial killer. That's what's going on here. Now you have someone who is serially breaking the law, and we know that. So questions that are left unanswered. Where were these documents found? We still don't know the exact location. We know that they were in a private workspace for Joe Biden. Where were they? Where were they? I have an instinct that they were inside of the office that was shared with the Chinese government that Hunter Biden had a key to. There was a special secret office that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden shared with Jill Biden, and a member of the Communist Chinese Party had access to it. That's what I think. Will Joe Biden be impeached for this? Yes, if that's the case. Could it be at one of Joe Biden's beach houses? Not sure. When's our FBI raid? Where's our special counsel? Merrick Garland gave Donald Trump a special counsel whilst knowing that Joe Biden did the exact same thing. Another question. Why did so much inflow of foreign cash happen when the University of Pennsylvania announced the Penn Biden Center? Why suddenly the new interest in all this foreign money flowing in? Was it so that you could buy access to Joe Biden? Of course it was. Was it so that you could buy access through your special janitorial program to the second drawer on the right with all the classified information in it? Maybe. Was Joe Biden keeping documents that were sensitive about national security that could have embarrassed or potentially led to the prosecutions of members of the Obama regime? Secret documents about Iran. Well, Barack Obama's keynote foreign policy decision was the Iran nuclear deal. What did that document contain? What were they trying to hide? You know, all these documents go immediately to the Trump administration. So what were they trying to hide from Trump oversight? That's in and of itself is obstruction of justice and its own crime. Documents on Ukraine. Well, of course they have documents on Ukraine. Joe Biden was obsessed with Ukraine because Ukraine was just a client state of our uniparty deep state. So he could get his kid jobs, get prosecutors fired, stage false flag revolutions there. The Maidian Revolution is exactly what that was. Number 3, documents pertaining to the United Kingdom. Well, what's that about? Oh, well, that's Christopher Steele right there. That's what that's about. That's setting up Donald Trump. Those are documents pertaining to their knowledge about setting up Donald Trump in Operation Crossfire Hurricane. Mark my words. What are all these new documents about? Are they about Hunter's business deals in China or Uzbekistan or Russia? Are they pertaining to Hunter's deals with the billionaires inside of Vladimir Putin's inner circle? Because he took a ton of money from them. What will we find out? And mark my words, we will find out, ladies and gentlemen. We will find out. We're going to stay on this story. As of right now, these are the pertinent details, ladies and gentlemen. The White House is running, sprinting actually, and I guess if you want a good chuckle, I have a final video for you. Nancy Pelosi shoving food in her mouth so she doesn't have to answer questions about this, getting her dentures stuck together.
Do you have any comment on President Biden keeping classified documents? I'm sorry. Oh.
I cannot wait to wipe the smug, crippled, diseased, dentures, smirks off these people's wrinkly old faces. You can run on for a long time, but sooner or later, God gonna cut you down. That's a line from a Johnny Cash song. What it means is that, yes, evil may prosper in this world, but you are gonna find out. You're gonna find out. If you F around, you're gonna find out. Pride cometh before destruction. And what you're seeing right now, in its most glorious manifestation, is the kickback of a lifetime, a diseased lifetime of cover-ups and illegality and crimes directed by the mafia head syndicate of the Biden crime family, Joe Biden. And you are watching the sloppiness, laziness, and moronic, because most criminals are just really stupid. Most smart people are like too smart to commit crimes. They can like make money legally and provide a good life for their families legally. But the idiots have to commit crimes. And Joe Biden's family is filled with the idiots. And so that's how you get headlines like this, ladies and gentlemen. And that's how we get the crime scene of the Biden family. You know, we'll be back. Your boy Benny will be back in the morning, 11 a.m., covering all of the new updates, and there will be many on this story. We are communicating with the people who are prosecuting Joe Biden and going after Joe Biden. And trust me, baby, we got some bulldogs on our side. So unleash the dogs. Let's go. My name's Benny Johnson. Thank you so much for watching this breaking news alert on the Biden crime family. See you in the morning.